Well, hello, all my amazingly beautiful zodiac family and friends. My name is Libra Empress, and this is another episode of Terror and Tarot with Libra Empress. Today we are going to be watching 3 true dark web horror stories animated by IMR Entertainment. Without further ado, let's get started, shall we?
I am Corey. I live with my parents in Cape Town. I can't leave my parents alone. They are always worried about me after what happened to my sister a year back. My sister was in high school. She was always a moody teen, getting upset and annoyed at very little matters. I used to work in a bookstore near her school. One day, when I went to pick her up from school, I saw her fighting with a boy standing on the school sidewalk. As soon as I reached close, she ended the conversation with him and got into my car. She didn't say a single word the entire way. I wanted to give her some space, so I thought to ask her later about it. The next day was a Saturday. To cheer up my sister's mood, I decided to spend some time with her. I went to her room. She was hooked on her computer. I sat down beside her and said, "So, what's the plan for today? Want to do something fun?" Casey rolled her eyes at me and didn't say anything. Handling a teenager is a tough job, but I was adamant too. I saw Casey reading something online. "What are you reading?" I asked her. Casey told me that she is surfing the dark web. Just like Quora on Google, where you can ask and get answers for your questions, dark web also has a similar platform named Hidden Answers. But at Hidden Answers, people can ask any question, no matter how bizarre that turns out to be. As dark web can be accessed under untraceable identity, people can get very creepy at such platforms. Trust me, I am saying from my own experience. I told Casey, "I don't think this is safe, Casey." Just to be updated on what my little sister is getting into, I started to surfing dark web in my pastime too. The platform Hidden Answers is beyond disturbing. I couldn't believe people can be this insane. I read a small conversation where someone has asked, "How can I get rid of my mother's dead body without getting into any trouble?" I was fucking scared. I thought someone must be joking about it, but as I read the replies, I realized he wasn't. What felt creepier is that someone replied to this saying, "You can chop the body into small pieces and slowly get rid of it." For example, you can feed the solid pieces to your dog or neighbor's dog secretly, and then burn down the rest of it every night in little amounts. I did the same with my husband's. I immediately disconnected myself from that page and decided to talk to my sister to stay away from dark web as well. The next day, when I took Casey for grocery shopping, I told her about the terrifying conversation in Hidden Answers, but I got surprised seeing her reaction to this. Casey just shrugged her shoulders and laughed at me. "God, sis, stop telling me what to do. Get a life of your own, dude," she said rudely. I was hurt. I didn't say anything more because I knew she will throw more attitude on me, so I avoided having any more conversation with her on this matter. But I really wish I did more. I really wish I told her how much I cared for her before she took that one drastic step, which changed all of our lives forever. Casey was out on a sleepover at her friend's house. I was having dinner with my parents. My mom suddenly said something very weird. She looked at me and said, "Corey, I think Casey is up to something unholy." I wasn't expecting something like this, so I was very shocked. I asked, "Why do you say that, Mom?" My mom told me that in the afternoon she was cleaning my sister's room, and she found some very uncanny stuff under her bed. I went to her room and looked under her bed. There was a long rope with a couple of candles shaped like snakes and some burnt pages inside a wooden box. I couldn't read the half-burnt pages, but I realized Casey is getting out of bound now. I told my parents I will look after all this and they don't have to worry about it. The next day, I went to her school secretly and looked for that boy whom I saw fighting with Casey the other day. I asked him about all the stuff I found under her bed. The boy told me that he broke up with Casey after she told him to take part in some satanic ritual that she read on dark web. She said that this ritual can give some kind of ecstasy by leading someone into the spiritual experience of a lifetime. I was really worried about my sister. I went straight home and waited for her return. As soon as Casey got home, I noticed her eyes were red and puffed. I realized something happened at her friend's house last night because it was clear she didn't get any sleep there. She walked up to her room and closed the door. I knocked on her door saying, "Casey, open the door. I know you're up to something very bizarre. You have no idea how dangerous this can all be. Open the door right now." She didn't open the door for once. Instead, screamed from her room saying, "Why can't you just mind your own business? It's my life, okay? I am not your little sister anymore. I will come out when I feel like it." I didn't know what else to do. My parents weren't at home. They went to see my grandmother, so it was just me and my sister in the house. I went downstairs and sat on the couch thinking I will talk to her when she comes out. I don't remember when I dozed off, but when I woke up, things felt like a nightmare. Only the nightmare was real life this time. Someone tied my hands tightly in the back. I was lying on the ground as my mouth was taped too. I started to panic, thinking there's a burglar in our house. I was shit scared and worried about Casey. I tried to scream in a muffled voice, but my voice only sounded like a repressed cry. As I opened my eyes, I saw the door was locked from the inside, but I could hear voices upstairs. After a few minutes, the sounds of footsteps appeared in my ear. Someone was walking down the stairs. It was my little sister, except she was not the same person anymore. Casey was wearing all black. I assumed she tied me up this way after making me unconscious with chloroform or something like that because my head was feeling heavy. She leaned on my face. I started to sob and she began to laugh hysterically. Casey was completely out of her mind. She then said, "I know you will try to stop me, but you just can't, Corey. I am going to be part of something spiritual." The more she spoke, the more insane she sounded. She further said that she read on Hidden Answers that a satanic cult claimed that attempting suicide can give one the most spiritual experience in life. The experience comes right before the moment you feel you are going to die. At that moment, one can see the universe winding up in front of their eyes. What happened next destroyed a young life and damaged our family forever. In front of my very own eyes, Corey climbed on the chair nearby and tied her neck to a rope hanging from the ceiling. I sprinted on the ground trying to free myself, but I couldn't do anything. My eyes could not believe what it was witnessing. She was about to do something so horrible from which she could never turn back, but only if she understood that. I cried and screamed and tried deliberately to free my hands so that I could run to her and stop her. Casey stared at me blankly in that position and said, "Don't worry, Corey. I won't die. I will take it off at the right moment. All I want to see is who I am. I want to experience what they said they did." I knew she was sick. Her eyes moved randomly as she spoke. I could tell from her creepy smile that she needed help, but I couldn't do anything. I was helpless. A loud thud took place as she kicked the chair. Her body started to shake like fish out of water, and suddenly Casey held her rope and tried to take it off, but oh, my little sister. She couldn't. It was tied so tightly that her feet kept swinging in the air. She was choking in front of my eyes. I cried and cried, but nothing made the moment stop when my parents got home. My mother shattered on the floor, seeing my little sister's lifeless body hanging from the ceiling. My father didn't know what to do as he saw her hanging in our living room, and I was unconscious, lying on the floor, tied and taped. The cops were called, and they took out her body in a stretcher. I lost my sister. She died in front of my eyes, and I couldn't save her, even though I tried really hard. Dark web took her from our lives. My mother doesn't talk anymore. She just sits in our living room staring at the ceiling from where Casey hung herself. I suggested many times to shift to another house, but she refuses each time. My mother believes Casey is still with us in the house. But if you are watching this, I want to tell you that dark web is not the right place to look for solutions if you are having any kind of trouble with yourself. Please stay away from this hellhole, or it will sink you down so deep that you will never be able to come out of it. Talk to your friends and family whenever you feel you need help. Also, help others when you see them in the same situation. I searched and searched, but couldn't find any trace of that cult group on dark web, Hidden Answers. I can't sleep at night, as I get nightmares seeing my little sister gasping for air while choking herself to death. There is nothing I can do which will bring her back. This happened last year, in January. The coronavirus outbreak hasn't started yet. I took a job at Walmart to save for college. I moved into my brother's house, who was already working in a startup. After a tiresome week of work, we both relaxed at our house by inviting a couple of friends. There were 5 of us, including me and my brother. We all ordered pizza and watched action movies most weekends. My brother often drank beers with 2 of his friends and cracked hilarious jokes. Me and my friend Matt used to play video games and laugh at their jokes. Long story, short weekends were quite fun. One weekend, we were chilling out like usual, just when one of my brother's friend, Jimmy, started to talk about the dark web. Matt and I got interested, so we stopped playing to listen to him. Jimmy said the dark web is beyond our imagination. He told us that he surfed it a couple of times with his colleagues. My brother suddenly got all hyped and said we can do it too, for time passed. I wasn't sure how safe it would be, but they were anyway going to do it. Jimmy downloaded the Tor browser on my brother's laptop. He said that was the only way to access the dark web. In short, Tor browser helps to make you anonymous on the internet. Your IP address, for example, stays hidden. As we went on with our search, the hidden Wikipedia of dark web, it took us only 5 minutes to understand. We have stepped into an unknown as well as unsafe territory. We found a bunch of creepy and bizarre websites. I don't know if you will believe me or not, but we came across a site that read, How to Cook a Woman. Yes, guys, I know it sounds horrifying, but there are actually instructions on this site on how to cook a woman's flesh. Like what kind of cuts should be made for distinctive parts, what kind of tools should be used for that, and all kind of disgusting information. I was very irritated by the way things were going ahead, so I said it out loud. I don't like what we're really doing right now. It's equally disturbing and creepy like hell. My brother agreed with me, hence we came out of that site immediately. Jimmy shrugged off quite casually, saying, the dark web is not for kids, and eventually mocked me for being a kid. I didn't reply to him because he was being a jerk anyway. We were about to log out when a notification popped on the screen. The browser was having lots of ads, just like on a Google page, but we hardly noticed any of them. But there was something different with this ad. Matt pointed out, saying this thing created a lot of buzz among many YouTubers, so eventually, we all got hooked onto it. The ad read, buy it, if you can. Without thinking much, my brother clicked it, and it opened up into an eBay page. But the more we scrolled on the page, we realized this was an internal site of eBay that we won't find in any Google browser. The site had a bunch of boxes named as mystery boxes. There was no information available on the content of these boxes. It seemed like the boxes are supposed to be a surprise. I remember seeing a video online where a YouTuber unboxed a mystery box after buying it from dark web. The box ended up having creepy broken doll heads and some bunch of junks like rat skulls, broken wood pieces, etc. Each box had its own value, and there was no information on the weight or length of these boxes. As I said, my brother is very whimsical in nature. He suggested that we can order a mystery box, and open it all together the next weekend. I was totally against this idea because I read online sometimes these mystery boxes contain evidence of murders that criminals are trying to get rid of. But as usual, no one listened to me, and Jimmy, once again, laughed at me. By this time, I was really pissed at their silly behavior, so I decided to go to sleep. Matt told me the next morning at work that they have ordered a mystery box with $200, and they are going to open it the next weekend. I didn't say anything because it hardly mattered, and went on to stack the ketchup in the food counter. After I returned home, my brother seemed worried, so I asked him, "What's the matter?" He told me he received a text message in the afternoon from an unknown number. It said that he is about to receive a package, and it's non-refundable as he has already paid for it with Bitcoins. I was sure it was Jimmy, who kind of forced him to buy it for stupid thrill. I asked him to show me the text message. As he handed me over the phone, I saw the message read that the time and venue of delivery will be informed to us, and we will have to go there to pick it up. We are a generation of online shoppers, but for the first time, I saw such a shadowy method of package delivery. No way was I letting my brother go alone, so I told him next time if he receives details on the delivery pickup, Matt and I will also go with him. A week passed, and nothing happened. It was Friday, just the day before our weekend get-together, when my brother again got a text from the same number. There was an address mentioned in it. It was about 8 kilometers distance from our house. We hopped inside the car and picked up Matt on the way. As we reached the mentioned location, we came to an overbridge above a riverbed. My brother said that he came here a couple of times with his friends to drink beer. At this point, we slowed down our car, expecting a delivery guy with our package. But surprisingly, there wasn't anyone standing there. Matt said, "I think someone fooled us. Seems like you guys wasted money for nothing." And he then started laughing. I joined him because I was already expecting an outcome like this. But my brother suddenly pointed out his finger outside the car window on his left side and said, "Look, there's a cardboard box." We all followed his direction and saw that he was right. We got out of the car and walked towards the left sidewalk. A middle-sized cardboard box was actually present there. All this time, we didn't see anyone passing from this area, so it felt very fishy to see an unknown package lying randomly in the street. The box had no address or name on it. I picked it up and realized it isn't that heavy. There's definitely something inside it. We came back home and my brother invited all his friends, including Jimmy, saying there's a surprise waiting for all of us. Even Matt seemed pretty excited about unboxing this package, but I couldn't shake off the uneasy feeling from the moment this box has arrived in our life. The table was all set with booze and snacks. I was sure something unexpected will happen tonight. An eerie feeling was rushing down my spine the entire time as I stared at the box. The box was kept on the glass table in front of our couches. Around 7:30 p.m., everyone arrived at our place. Earlier, everyone used to come at 8:30 or 9 p.m., but due to the arrival of the mystery box, they all turned up as soon as they could. Jimmy rushed to the table and took the box in his hand. "Dude, this is giving me chills. Let's open it, guys," he said in a highly excited voice. I sat down next to him, and everyone gathered in a circle. It felt like time had stopped. All of their eyes were at the box. I sat in the distance, because in case something bizarre comes out of it, I don't want to be close enough. The box was heavily taped from the outside. Matt took a sharp steel knife and started to cut it from the connectors. After a few seconds of doing so, the box got opened. There were 3 separate bubble wraps present in the box. As we opened the smallest one, it came out to be a belt. Now, let me tell you, there was something very unusual about this belt. The leather it had was very fragile. It was quite transparent and pale in color. It even felt odd to the skin. As we went on opening the other 2 packages, we discovered someone had sent us a bunch of regular stuff made of leather. There was a woman's handbag and a pair of socks. Though the handbag and the wallet seemed normal, the socks were really gross. After examining it closely, we unleashed the horror that was waiting for us all. The socks are also made of the same leather like the wallet and the bag. But it had a bunch of hairs on it. Trust me, guys, I am not making it up at all. Those socks weren't just covered in human hair, but there was actually skin growing out of those socks. My brother jumped from his place and threw the socks away. Oh my God! Is it really human skin, guys? He screamed at the top of his lungs. Everyone was shocked and terrified. Jimmy started to panic like a kid now. I can't believe someone sent us goods made of human leather. This is fucking creepy, bro. What are we gonna do? He kept screaming and panicking, and everyone was out of their freaking mind. I stood there, staring at the handbag. My eyes couldn't believe that the leather was once a living person's skin. Matt started crying, saying, "What if someone murdered this person and now try to get rid of the body by turning his skin into leather products? The police will get to us. Damn it, guys. What have we done?" I realized everyone is also terrified like hell. So before it's too late, I have to do something. I made everyone sit down. After they all calmed down a bit, I told them the best thing we can do is to hand over this package to the police ourselves. Jimmy, as usual, freaked out even more, and he was about to insult me again just when my brother's phone rang. Someone has texted him from the same number. I opened the text, and the blood in my body rushed to my heart, making it beat like drums. The text said, "Enjoy products from www.humanleather.com." Before wasting any more time, I picked up all the stuff and put them back in the box. Then we all ran to our backyard and burnt the entire package in the garbage disposing incinerator. My brother changed his number after that event. That was the last time we all surfed the dark web. At least, I am never going to step inside that creepy place ever again. People say one act can change your life. What they don't say is that it works for both sides, for better or worse. I don't know about you all, but trust me, my life is now ruined forever. This is something I will have to live on with. I was 19 years old back then. Stepping into college made me see my life in a completely new way. I have always been an extrovert, hence, I never thought twice before attending a party or hanging out with a group of new people. I shared an apartment with one of the seniors in college. He was often busy partying with friends. Whenever I got home after college, I could see them drinking or smoking around the house. Sometimes, I even saw them doing drugs. One night, I was really frustrated. I was having some issues with my current relationship. So I went to my senior's room to chill at his place for a while. I thought being around a bunch of strangers would divert my mind for a bit. I knocked on his door. He took the time to answer it. He opened the door slowly and looked at me. I could tell from his eyes that he was all high and also realized he is alone in the room. He gestured me to come inside. The curtains of the room were all shut. Even in the daytime, his room was pitch dark. The only light in the room was coming from his desktop around the corner. He asked me in a deep voice, "Girlfriend trouble?" I was shocked. He then said, "I could hear you fighting over the phone. Sit down." I became embarrassed about being so loud earlier. My senior sat next to me and handed me a cigarette. I smoke with my friends sometimes, so I took it and lit it up. My eyes went to his desktop screen. His Google page seemed completely different. I noticed the URL was not .com, like we see in Google. Instead, it read .onion. I realized his browser is entirely different. As I sat there and smoked silently, he started taking cocaine in front of me. I have seen people doing drugs before, so it didn't startle me at all. After a couple of minutes, my senior suddenly turned towards me and asked me with his wide, puffy eyes, "Want some? It will help you deal with your troubled mind," and started to laugh like a creep. I am sure you all must be thinking that I left his room immediately, But unfortunately, that didn't happen. I was really frustrated, as I mentioned earlier. My girlfriend insulted me saying I need to grow up and stuff like that. I don't know what I was thinking. But one thing for sure is I channeled out my anger in a very wrong way. I failed to realize that drugs are never the solution to any problems. I did do what I shouldn't have done. After an hour, my mind was having a euphoric journey. I felt highly confident and started to talk a lot. Like, a lot. I asked my senior, "What's wrong with your computer? Your Google page is not coming right." He laughed really hard at me and said, "Dude, this isn't child's play. This isn't Googling." I was high as a kite and also curious at the same time. I wanted to know more. My senior told me that he is surfing the dark web, which is often called as the deep web. The dark web is part of the internet that is invisible to search engines. To access this, we need a completely different browser, named the Tor browser. I heard about dark web a lot from my friends and how dangerous acts take place there, but seeing it for the first time gave me chills. I came to know that there's a site on the dark web named Silk Road, which is considered to be the Amazon of drugs. People can buy all kinds of illegal drugs from that site, and the currency to pay here is Bitcoins. Eventually, I came to know that my senior buys his drugs from this site, and it arrives as an anonymous package without any ID or registered address. After that day, things took a bad turn for me. I got myself into such deep shit that I don't think I can ever recover from it. I became an addict with my regular habit of doing cocaine. Two of my friends joined in too. We often bought our share from my seniors, so there never came any unsafe situation. After 2 months, my senior shifted with his girlfriend, as it was the last month of his college. He told us that he left addiction after he got all sober when we called to buy from him. But we were off limits, so I decided to buy some for my own from the dark web. I was surfing through Silk Road one night in my room. Suddenly, an ad link popped up on the right corner of my screen. The ad read, "Doctors do you? Get the best stash at cheapest price." As I clicked the link, it took me to an unknown page full of illegal medications. I saw people claiming as doctors were selling various pills and drugs at a real cheap price. I got all excited to get such good deals, and I ordered some without reading or thinking it through. After a week or so, an unknown package arrived at my door. I invited my friends to dinner, and we all sat down to get high. As soon as I snorted the first line, something horrible happened. The powder made my nostrils burn like hell. I immediately grabbed my head and started to scream lying on the floor. My friends were lucky, as they didn't start yet. I saw blood was coming out of my nose. My friend took me to the bathroom and made me inhale water through my nose to release the effect out. After a few minutes of doing that and vomiting my entrails out, I was completely drained out. My body felt numb, and all I wanted was to sleep for hours. I even took a painkiller to kill the throbbing pain in my head and went to bed. My friends called my senior, and he came to the house the next morning. We explained to him everything, and he seemed very upset about bringing this on me. I told him it wasn't his fault and that I got addicted. After that, I completely stopped doing drugs, but a sense of curiosity remained inside me. I was sure I got conned in the dark web with fake drugs, but I wanted to know what that white powder was. So I asked one of my friends who had a girlfriend in the microbiology department in our college. She was then researching on effects of pharmaceutical drugs on human mind. So I thought she might be able to help us to find out what this thing actually is. My hands are still shaking as I am going to tell you the ultimate horror that devastated me for life. She ran a couple of tests on the powder, but couldn't find any toxic substance in it. She was surprised to realize that it wasn't a drug, but she went out of her mind as she discovered it was nothing but dust made of human bones. Yes, I snorted human bones. That's right. The dust particles were so sharp that it made my veins bleed. Thanks to God that only a little amount went inside me as I detained myself thinking, how it will be for the first time. I am still out of explanations when I think of why a bunch of freakheads sell dusts of human bones online. I wonder how they got it. Or did they make it by themselves?
Well, that was 3 true dark web horror stories animated by IMR Entertainment. That was really great, actually. Spooky. Very spooky. While we were doing that, I pulled 5 cards. So, it's for the dead spread. Now, the person we were connecting to today was the type of person who always was able to bring people together no matter what. They were the glue that held everybody together. They were. Looking back on their life and how they saw it, they were very patient, but they made a lot of progress. A lot of progress. A lesson they would like to share is don't be so gullible, okay? Just because people tell you the sky's green doesn't mean it is. Okay? So don't be so gullible. Read up on your facts and know your stuff. That way, you won't be agreeing with a lot of the nonsense that's out there. Something that they wish they'd paid more attention to in life was their inner conflict. They had a lot of inner conflict. A lot. A lot of inner conflict. The message they would like to give you is this: keep reaching for your wish fulfillment, your star, right? Things are coming your way. It might not be immediately, but it'll come in time when it wants to show itself, all right? There are lots of blessings coming your way. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to me. My name is Libra Empress. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you for next week's Tarot and Tarot with me, Libra Empress, all right? Stay safe. Bye, my friends.